your team showed. How important was it that you got the result today?
Well, massive. To come in the first fixture to Old Trafford with that atmosphere, the way they are building momentum with the new signings and the excitement around it is top. I mean, it's a great feeling. Then we have to be really humble about the way we did it. And we did it, one, because we put a magnificent set piece in, and after, because the way we reacted to mistake. To enforce mistakes and mistakes that are very far from the standards that we normally have, and we constantly reacted to that in a really positive way. And that's the reason why we had the opportunity to win the game.
Okay, so for your best level, far too many mistakes, but the reactions to those mistakes got you the result.
As we're talking about character and spirit, that's it. I'm not having the best day from the first action. I can make a mistake. How do I react to that? And it wasn't one, it was many players that acted, because there are many moments that, I mean, in open space, we should have killed them. And after they went the other way, immediately catching us in the back foot, the way everybody tracked, the way everybody defends, it was phenomenal.
So you scored with your first corner of the season. We know you're always a threat from set pieces, but it looks like you've worked hard on them over pre-season, a slightly different setup it looked like?
Yeah, in many ways we have changed and evolved certain things that obviously we don't want to make it unpredictable for the opposition, and it pays the price. At the end, the games are won in both boxes, and that's what we've done today.
Do you think today, with the expectation that's on you, that was a huge moment? I know it maybe sounds a bit odd to ask it after one game, but with United and the games you got to follow, you know, narratives around big clubs can build quickly.
Yeah, and it is, and it says a lot, because I just look at the players' faces and they want much more, and we know that we are much better than certain moments the way we played. I think before I came here it was 18 or 22 years without winning at Old Trafford, and now we come here, we won many times and still unsatisfied, and I take that as a massive compliment and as a way to build what we want to build.
What needs to be better?
There's a lot of aspects, I think, especially the way we started the game with duels, with 50-50 actions, with simple giveaways after regaining the ball. We need to be very careful against a team that has the speed, the ability in the front line to threat you that way. We need to be very careful with that.
Lastly then, what did you make of your new boys, Zubimendi, Gyökeres, the two that started the game?
Well, very happy with them, the ones that they come in as well. I think they had a massive impact in the game. We need to glide them together. Some of them physically still, they're not at the highest level or the way that we need to get. We'll get there.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Victory for Mikel Arteta, but an admittance that they're not at their best at this stage of the season. Have they almost, Daniel, got to learn how to use Victor Gyökeres at the top of the pitch?
I think so, yes. I really do. Why? Because when you are an attacker who's, you know, used to doing certain actions, and I think Saka is used to playing a certain way and doing specific types of things. Likewise, the player on the left wing, and they've been playing with a striker in Havertz who's very different to Gyökeres. It does take time to get used to that player's runs. He's going to have to also alter his game. It's not just about the team changing for him, it's about him changing for the team also, and understanding how he's going to perform best. The manager's going to have to implement certain things on the training pitch. He's going to have personal conversations, and that's what it takes for you to hit the ground running.
So how did you adapt your game when you went from different clubs, from Man City to Bolton to Chelsea to Liverpool?
I think it's, again, the conversations, understanding who you're playing with. So, for instance, when I was at Chelsea, I was playing on the wing. So I knew Didier would like certain types of passes or crosses, and Torres was different to him, so I had to play different with Torres. And Anelka would be different, and maybe you could change positions with Nico a little bit. Likewise, when you talk about Bolton, I was up front with Kevin Davis, so flick-ons, okay, cool, I'm big man, little man vibe today. You know, old school, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then you go to Liverpool, where it was me and Louis to start with, and again, it's like you're both almost playing in a split strikers thing. I view it as Gyökeres is used to playing a specific way with Sporting Lisbon. He's throughout his career, I think he's a traditional centre forward who's going to make runs in behind. He's a strong player. He's got pace. He's powerful, and his game is predicated on that power and those first yards of making a run to get himself in a position to get a shot off.
And he missed a lot of pre-season, didn't he? He did miss a chunk of pre-season with all the transfer speculation. I don't think he was training. So you're thinking out a few more games, he might get up.
He didn't look sharp today.
Yeah, he didn't.
We can show you his touch map, and this maybe, Micah, suggests that he and Arsenal are some way from unlocking his real potential. I think we've got 3 touches in the opposition box, and for context, I think Šeško coming on late in the game actually had 4 touches in the opposition box. And just to add on Gyökeres, it's the first time in a league game since he left Coventry that he's not actually had a shot at a game.
Yeah, I think Roy mentioned it. He's come back late pre-season. You'd like these touch maps to be a little bit better, but you expect someone to be the sharpest on the first game of the season. Danny makes a great point about how to adapt to the team. I think he's a striker where he plays with wing backs and he just makes that run. I think Arsenal, the way they want to play that intricacies through the mid block and then Havertz getting on the ball and all them sort of things. But today he just looked a little bit frustrated. And that was not just Arsenal. I think it's because when Man United at times last season, they was dropping off. But Luke Shaw was engaging, really tight. He knew exactly what he had to do. I thought Euro was good for a young player as well, reading the game, reading situations. And I thought the atmosphere was just a lot for him today. I think it'll be different once he goes to the Emirates and he's got the home team behind him.
Leeds United next week. He'll be looking forward to that.
Of course. And he struggled today, but we didn't expect him to be at his best today anyway, you know?
This is the start that we've referenced a couple of times, that Mikel Arteta's side. Yes, a new promoted team next week in their first home game, but then after that, before the international break, away to Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, who looked good today and it made it very difficult for top sides last season, then City, then away to Newcastle, where they lost last season, have found it tough in recent seasons. But will they look at those differently because of the fact they've got off to a winning start here?
Yeah, and listen, it's tough. Most teams have difficult starts. You can't look at any game and think it's going to be easy. But from Arsenal's point of view, the sign of a really good team is when you're not at your best to win football matches. The worry for me a little bit in the second half, and the manager mentioned it there, is that there were opportunities to really go at United, and it was just we're not about difficult passes. Sometimes just a simple pass or a simple run. They seemed awful from that point of view. But if you can win when you're not at your best, then that's a big plus. But going forward, when you're competing, you're trying to compete now with the likes of, obviously, we see Liverpool and Man City. They seem to have that more of a, they want to go for that second goal or that third goal, whereas Arsenal are still a bit, we got 1-0, we maybe hold on to it. And that kind of backfired a little bit last year when they had too many draws. And too many draws won't win you league titles. And that's where they have to improve. So when we see them next week, if they're 1-0 up against Leeds, that they're really clinical. And obviously, Leeds at home is a different animal to Man United away, no doubt, as much as United are struggling. So I think Arsenal will need to find that, and we didn't see it today, and that's the first day of this season, to be really clinical in their play and really go for the second and third goal. Don't be hanging back and thinking we'll hold on. They've done that last year, and it cost them.
I think that they need to score different types of goals to take the next step. More penetrative passes in the central areas, which in turn will give Gyökeres more opportunities to score goals. I think a lot of the goals he will end up scoring will be goals like Haaland scores, which is one-touch finishes in the box, crosses coming in, headers, poaching in the 6-yard box. I think he also thrives off of, similar to Haaland does though, in that those penetrative passes around the box, which is going to give him the chance to make that burst over a few yards to get his shots away.
And will Zubimendi help with that as well, when he's got a bit more time and a bit more space?
For sure.
Yeah, well, they scored a goal exactly like that in pre-season, where it was cut back, it went out wide, it come back to Zubimendi, first time cross, and Gyökeres was there to head it in. So it's just about building.
And when you're a big, strong man like that and you do miss pre-season, sometimes for the bigger lads who are big units, and he's a big, strong boy, he's like an old-fashioned striker, you definitely need a bit more time to kind of get up to speed. Sometimes the slider lads are a bit sharper up here, but for the big lads, it just takes a bit longer to get back in the swing.
Arteta, they got the job done after that early goal here at Old Trafford. Roy Keane, how significant do you think that victory is?
It's an important start for him, with the other teams doing so well over the weekend. Wasn't great the second half. I thought you lacked quality, particularly from Arsenal's point of view. But you take a win in the first day of the season and you move on. Obviously, a home game next week to Leeds. They'll fancy themselves in that match. But overall, I think the game was poor second half. The expectations at United now is so low that even when Gary was talking a commentary, everyone's even comfortable with a 1-0 defeat. You know, you've got to do better again.
Does that trouble you?
It does worry me, yeah. Even there was obviously the couple of the new signings, a lot of encouragement with that, and they're getting you up the pitch and there's a bit more power. You think obviously results will improve. It's always tough against Arsenal, but again, no goal, another defeat, first day of the season. So yeah, there's still problems there with United, and then we see it obviously with the goal, in terms of set piece, physicality, determination to get a result. Your goalkeeper really not doing well enough, not being strong enough. So yeah, there's still that worry. I had it before the match. Encouragement from some of the attacking players. But
what was your main worry before the game?
I still think that, I suppose what we saw, again, not for all the bit of encouragement, hitting the post and keeper making saves, not you never felt United had 2 or 3 goals in them, and even Arsenal getting the 1 goal. Obviously, Arsenal. I think that's a worry when I see what Arsenal are doing. You wonder why Arsenal are just coming up short, because they're still happy enough to kind of sit in at 1-0, and then you go, is that the reason you drew so many games last year? You know, if we're comparing them to a Man City or a Liverpool, they're always thinking, let's go and get the second goal. Even on a bad day with Liverpool, you think they'll score 2 or 3 goals. So that's the challenge for Arsenal. But for the first day of the season, obviously their sharpness will improve. Like Saka, Odegaard, Rice, I think there's a lot more to come from them. But of course, you take a win on the first day of the season and a clean sheet.
United had their moments, didn't they? But did you ever feel that Arsenal were vulnerable or they were going to concede?
Yeah, I did. And Burma was in some great positions, and you know, if you're thinking he makes the perfect connection on the ball, it's a goal. You know, the keeper made some good saves. They showed a different side to Arsenal that we haven't seen, which is that they were a lot more open in those central areas. They found a lot of joy down the right-hand side with Mbeumo, especially in the first half. And I think all in all, Man United's attack will go away thinking to themselves, on another day I could have left scoring 1 or 2 today. That's how I would have felt. Certainly if I was in Burma, I'd be going to bed thinking, wow, I should have left with 1 today. So I think they're going to take confidence from their performance, Man United, but in the end, the result's all that matters, and Arsenal will leave, going to London, buzzing with themselves, saying, look, we didn't perform to our best today, but we're going on with the 3 points.
As you said, Mikey, before the game, if your ultimate goal is to win the title, you have to win here.
Yeah, and they won it, and it wasn't pretty at times, as the guys have said, but it's how much you can dig deep. And I think with Arsenal, what's helped them sort of stay in the fight for the title of the previous seasons, when they get into that low block, they're very difficult to break down. Adding the set pieces, and they're a good side. I would just like to see them be a little bit more brave. And I'm not just talking about today, I'm talking about previous games as well. But how to start a season, to come to Old Trafford and get the 3 points, you can't ask for much more than that, especially when your players are not fit at this moment in time.
And probably predictable, the source of the goal, because we know Arsenal are so good from set pieces, and here they were, their first corner of this new season, and you saw Manchester United in disarray trying to deal with it.
Yeah, again, good delivery. We know Arsenal are big and strong, and they vary it. And but if you stop it where it goes in, where the ball ends up, the goalkeeper, that's your keeper's job. So for all the blocking and the advantage, and the goalkeeper, that's his area. He has to be, I always say, yeah, he has to come with violence. He's got to be aggressive. He's got to be almost saying to players, yeah, come in here, I'm happy to deal with it. And you've got to be aggressive. But look, he's not strong enough.
You agree, Daniel, he can do more?
Look at him, he's appealing to the referee. Don't be appealing to the referee. So, lads, look, he's on his heels. If a player comes into your area, you go, yeah, you come in, you invite him, because I'm going to hopefully punch the ball and I'll take you with it. Far too easy. It's like, you wouldn't see it's like schoolboy stuff.
We'd seen it before from Hampton last season against Spurs in the Carabao Cup. So the warning was there.
And that's part of the goalkeeper's job. We talk about shot stopping, but that's about taking command of your area and also letting your own defenders know, going, lads, if it does come into this area where it came into, first of all, I've got it. Listen, if something else happens to that, we react to it. But if that comes into me, I am favourite for it. I am going to be favourite. He's, 6'2", 6'3", and he ends up on his heels and you're getting bullied. Why don't you bully the other lads? Why don't you come and punch it and go, if you come near me, hey, listen, I'll take your head off as well, it's no problem. But they're all a bit, referee, no, don't look at the referee. Take control of it. It's like a weakness to it, physically and mentally. And especially on an in-swinger, you must know that when it's an in-swinger, it'll always be coming towards me. Out-swinger is slightly different. You think, well, I want to be careful. I don't want to be drawn out to it and getting dragged into bodies. But when it's coming in on top of you, you go, hey, happy days.
By contrast, did we see David Raya, the example of that positive goalkeeper who's going to make sure it doesn't cause him problems because he's going to deal with it?
Yeah, I mean, the conviction in it is there, his experience and
similar
confidence.
situation, isn't it, really?
But if you look on there, who's he got defending him a little bit more? He's got Gabriel, where on the other side, it was Mount. So if you look at the balance between Saliba and Mount at the time, he's getting ragdolled everywhere. I just thought De Ligt could have come inside and Mount could have gone outside. But in terms of the goalkeeper making that decisive decision, it was a really good punch. But if you just look here, Mount and Saliba, it's difficult. I agree with Roy. Mendes should have done a lot better.
Saliba
but when
doesn't
you've
do
got
much
bodies
more,
in front of you,
Saliba's not even. He should sleep. But look at the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper's not even aware of him. Goalkeeper's on his heels, and now he starts moving. He should be on his toes, bouncing, going, "No, you're going to come in here and be a nuisance." Saliba's doing very little to him. Do you know what he's doing? No, but he's lean. He's only leaning into him.
The job of that player in that role there is to protect the goalkeeper so he can come and punch it. There's a lot of chaos going on within that.
This is big boy stuff. You're saying protect him.
But you've got delay.
Yeah, but there's going to be mismatch. If your team, if they've got players, a lot more players bigger than your lads, you're going to be outmatched somewhere.
But not in the centre of
no, but
the goal.
But if it comes there,
it's come to the.
But he's only leaning into him. But that's the goalkeeper. You can't babysit a goalkeeper.
I agree with you that the goalkeeper should definitely do better, but I also believe he could be
the last player you want in there
is that, Mike, a little bit to do with the smartness of Arsenal's routine that they sort of eliminate Manchester United's best aerial defenders in that situation?
Why I believe De Ligt was at the far point post, because Arsenal sometimes have all the players start at the front and then go to the back, so they must have thought the ball was going to the back post. That was the reason I believe De Ligt was there. But unfortunately, Rice, we've not talked about Rice's delivery. It's on a sixpence, absolutely brilliant, where it's in the centre of the goal, and that's where you want your strong centre half to help out the goalkeeper.
You say that, right? But they've got Casemiro, a big defensive midfielder, and Euro, who's another centre half. I totally agree with De Ligt being at the back post. Are there best markers on people? Only the manager knows that. What I will say is I've done the role of Saliba in this situation, and it does seem as if he is getting the better of Mount, but I'm not going to say it's Mount's fault, because in the end, when you're on the football pitch, right, what do you want? You want one thing, it's your goalkeeper to come and clear everybody out.
Any question that he's fouled there?
No.
I wouldn't say so.
You know, you should go and play chess then, shouldn't you? Come on.
Do you think?
Part of the game we love is obviously physicality of football. Listen, we're all getting fed up with fouls, but if a goalkeeper's going to be doing this to the referee, going, like, the Arsenal lads must be looking at this goalkeeper going, there's a weakness. There must be a weakness to that side of his game, obviously.
Or is it? It's today.
You've got to target it. Is there a bigger picture and a bigger around goalkeeper right now? Because Onana, we know, has had his injury problems at the start of this season, but has been left out of the squad this afternoon.
When he has come in, we sometimes say it's difficult for a goalkeeper to come in and get up to speed or whatever, but he's had a run of games. He's had a taste of it last year, but we're on about trust and belief. The players you want to impress the most when you're a footballer, you're on about supporters, is your teammates. Your teammates want to be able to look at your goalkeeper going, if it does come into this neck of the woods, would it be a Schmeichel or all the top goalkeepers are going, he's fine, I think it'd be okay. But instead of us going, I'll block him, he's only leaning into him. Yeah, like they must do. Obviously, they go through their own set pieces. We saw it before the game, and if a goalkeeper can't deal with that part of the game, well, you are in trouble, because we know the importance of set pieces. We saw Forest in their first goal today. Set pieces are deciding huge games. We saw the stats from Arsenal. That's one of the reasons they're competing so well at the top of the table, just alone from their set pieces. So if you're a goalkeeper before the game, if they're doing their chats this morning, the last few days, and you're going through what you have to sort out, and you said to your goalkeeper, if that comes in here, you'd say, your goalkeeper coach would be saying to you, listen, that's on you. And he's not dealing with it, so it's on him.
Let's bring in more reaction. Bruno Fernandes is with Patrick Davison.
The result isn't what you wanted, but in terms of the performance, was that a step forward?
No, it's the first game of the season, so we can't speak about step forwards. It's the first one, so I think we made what was asked during the season. We did a lot of good things, but obviously it wasn't enough. We conceded a goal from a set pieces in the first half, and I think from there on, Arsenal didn't add any good chances. They didn't create any good chances. We were defending very well. I think again we created too many chances without scoring. So that's a point we have to look at and make it better next time.
Is that a real positive, though, that the way you were able to limit them and control large portions of the match?
No, obviously, I think in the first half the game was very divided. Obviously, in the second half, Arsenal was defending the result, so it's normal for the teams to drop a little bit more. But I think we controlled well the game. We were very good on the ball, and as I said, we created some chances, but we didn't score. I think that's the main negative of the game for us today.
Is the goal you've conceded a really disappointing one? The way you've given the corner away and then conceding from it when you know that their strength in that area?
No, that's it's part of the game. Corners, obviously, we know that they're very good in set pieces. Obviously, I haven't seen the goal again, but obviously, you know what, when you touch the goalkeeper when he wants to jump and go for the ball, it's very difficult. It makes it very difficult for him, and unfortunately, Altay couldn't get the ball out of the goal.
Did you get a view on that? Any sense from you that it was a foul?
No. As I said, I haven't seen the replay, and I was in the first post, so I can't talk about it. But Altay was saying that in the moment he goes to push the ball, he gets a touch. But obviously, we know in the Premier League they don't give much in this type of situations. Even if they had a meeting with us saying that if the players are blocking and not looking at the ball, they will whistle more. But we know that's just a kind of a saying, but not really going to the game.
Did you feel like the new boys that started the game, so Mbeumo and Cunha, added quite a lot of threat to the team, even though obviously no goal to show for it?
Yeah, but they create a lot. They were in the right positions. I think obviously Matheus, when he came as a 10, he was much more dangerous. But even as a striker, he creates some chances. We know they're dangerous. We know they're a threat, and they can help us a lot in that positions on the counters, coming inside with the ball and get them shots. So we're very aware of what they can give to the team. Was a good first impression for them, but I'm pretty sure they will do much better.
Do you have the sense, despite this defeat, I know it's sort of similar to the first question, that this isn't just a repeat of last season, that there is some hope that comes out of what you've done in pre-season and what you've done today?
No, obviously we have a big hope for this season, for what we want to achieve, for what we want to do this season. So I think was as I said, obviously losing the game is difficult to look at some positive things, but is there positive things to look about? Defending better on the set pieces is something that we need to look about also. Scoring goals is something that we need to look at. But as I said, and I really liked the reaction of the fans at the end. I really appreciate what they did. The sign of hope that you talk, for me, there was more the sign of hope than what we did on the game.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bruno.
What hope did you see? What fresh hope did you see for Manchester United?
Come on, Roy. It's the first...
Roy, man. Roy almost fell off the sofa.
It's the first game. Give him a little bit of leeway. They're still getting up to speed. There was definitely positives in Man United's play today. Okay, they didn't get the result that they wanted. Look, I thought Dorgu and Dalot in the first half were outstanding. I thought they took more risk. Normally, Man United played more a low block. I thought it was more in the mid block. They took chances when Dorgu got his chance. Then they bring on Dalot in the second half. He couldn't create as much as he wanted to. And Mbeumo was really good in the running in the right-hand channel. I thought there was positives for Man United today.
Daniel, what would you add to that?
I think Cunha today lit the place up. I thought he was the best player for Man United. For me, maybe on the pitch, I think what he was doing is going to bring something different to what Man United... They haven't had something like that where it can get you on the edge of your seat. And I think for me, as he continues to go, he's gonna be a special player for the team. I think in attack they looked really good. They were knocking on the door, like I said before. Raya was answering. It's football. Sometimes you give your best going forward, and it's not good enough. I think defensively they looked better. They were positive in their defensive actions centrally. You saw the Dorgu chance in the first half where they swarmed in the middle of the park and off they went. And then he was positive going forward and taking a shot. And I think all in all, of course, the result's all that matters. It's football. That's what it's all about, right? You want the 3 points, but if I'm going into that dressing room off the back of last season's performances, I'm thinking to myself, you know what, man? Yeah, we've lost today, but we played Arsenal for one. We've given it our best. Of course, we should.
They drew home with Arsenal last season.
But what I'm saying is,
Man United should be capable.
No, they should be capable, but they've also finished Where in the league? What was it? So we're talking about... We're not talking about head-to-head. It's a new season, right? If I'm a Manchester United player, I'm going in there thinking we've lost today, I'm absolutely devastated. But in comparison to where we were, there's loads of positives to take away. And the new players don't have that mindset. They're coming in with a fresh mindset thinking, I'm coming to Man United, I'm coming to rip it up. I want to tear this place down. I want to show everybody what I'm all about. And I want to change this club and bring them back to where they were. That's what the new players
We'll give you a
mindset
chance
is.
to respond to this, Roy.
Yeah, but I just think talking about the new signs, they did look like Man United players. I give them that. They looked like they enjoyed it and they embraced the pressure.
There are positives.
Yeah.
Good.
From De Gea all the way to where we are now. Obviously, we've seen what's happened with Andre Onana. Seen Bayern today, nowhere near it. Man United with the amount of money, like you just mentioned, and rightly as well, in the monies that they've spent, they need more goals. I think, like I said, they scored goals last season, what was relegation form. If it weren't for Bruno, I don't know where they would have been. So they've addressed that, and I think that Cunha and Mbeumo were very good today. But what's the point if your goalkeepers are going to be that bad? They need to... I don't know what's happening with Donnarumma. He weren't playing the other day. I don't know if he's coming here. I don't know if he's going... don't know where he's going, but they really do need to sort that goalkeeping situation out because they've lost the game on that. It's very soft. It's a hard one to take to lose it on that. Because I thought the players, especially people like De Ligt, I thought he played very well today. Cunha played well. Even Mbeumo for his debut. They played very, very well. They deserve to lose a game like that on a goalkeeper's poor technique. It's a terrible way to lose the game.
Do you think, we've no idea where the budget's up to, and they've obviously got to get players out, but that might have enforced the need before August the 31st to get somebody in, goalkeeper-wise?
I think they need a keeper. They do. And I think that will enhance that. I think the manager will sit down with his staff and think about that. They've got to shift some people out, I would imagine. But, you know, if you're going to have your spine of a team, everyone talks about having your spine and being a successful team. The great teams have always had that. You start with a goalkeeper. And if you've got a problem there after one match, you know, Onana comes back in, everyone's going to be like, well, you know, there's mistakes last year. So he's got a real problem already.
Well, let's talk live to the man who benefited from that error. Following in, the match winner, Riccardo Calafiori, is waiting to speak to us at Old Trafford. Riccardo, great to see you. Well done. How good does that feel? Winning goal, first day of the season away at Old Trafford.
Hi guys, everybody. Yeah, obviously it was a great feeling. I couldn't start better than this. Obviously it was a tough game, but we managed to get the 3 points at the end.
And you and your Premier League goals, I mean, we saw you score at the Etihad. You now scored the winner at Old Trafford and that winner at Wolves. They're all big, important ones.
Yeah, I mean, when you score and you get the 3 points because of your goal, is even more important, as you said. And yeah, that's a good start. We just have to keep going like that.
Is that the importance here of you following in, always expecting an error?
I don't know. Let's see. Let's see, game by game as well.
Is that something you'd highlighted, though? I mean, we know you're so strong from set pieces and the amount of goals you score from that area.
Yeah, I mean, I was speaking before about this. We just working every day, every week. If possible, we have to improve every season because the other teams, they study us and they know how to defend. So we just have to improve even more.
Riccardo, what did the manager say at half-time in how we were playing in the first half? Was he upset? Was he angry? What was he like in the dressing room?
Yeah, I wouldn't say upset, but obviously it wasn't our best game, I guess. And as well, it's not easy to play at Old Trafford. In the first minutes, they were so aggressive. But for sure, we could have done better, I think, in the manner regain, the second balls. But, you know, at the end, if you want to win the league or if you want to do something important, you cannot leave these points behind, even though you played, like, not your best game, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the positive, isn't it? When you're not at your very best, to still keep a clean sheet and win at Manchester United.
Yeah, exactly.
And does that give you something to build on now moving forward, having already seen City and Liverpool win this weekend before you played?
Yeah, obviously we were watching the games, and that means that we cannot leave any games. We have to win every game if possible. We have to stay in their rhythm, and obviously our belief is to be even in front of them, you know.
Indeed. Well done today. Match winner, Riccardo. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye.
That's the man who settled it in the end. And as we were saying earlier on, Wrighty, they're so good defensively. Another clean sheet to start the season today. That if they can nick games like that, that puts themselves in a real situation.
But obviously, like I said, I think our front players today didn't really fire as well as even when we did break Manchester United's press and we got through. I thought the final ball, maybe it was from Martin or from Saka or whoever it was, it just wasn't quite gelling today. But like again, it's a good sign when you can win like that. But at the same time, you do want to see more shots. Obviously, watching Liverpool, watching City, they looked really potent with what they were doing. They looked really vibrant with what they were doing. And maybe we might take a few games to get into that.
Nowhere near their best today. We hardly saw them actually affect the game in a positive way. But they're getting on that bus, going on a plane, getting home, and they've got 3 points tucked away. It's a great feeling because you can't play perfect football, particularly in the Premier League. Yeah. You can't play perfect football and be offensive and everything go your way. So when that happens, it's a great weekend. You know, you win 3-0, it's fabulous. But no, that's a really, really good win for Arsenal with the way that they performed. Their goalkeeper come up trumps with what he had to do. He'd done it well. The vital punch, a couple of saves. And they defended really stoutly. What United had 2 sort of half chances, really, during the game.
Talking of United, let's get some reaction. Here is their manager, Ruben Amorim.
And if you just saw the result, you might say, same as last season. But if you see the performance, did that feel like progress? Did it feel like a stride forward?
I'm really proud of the guys. I think they were really brave in everything they did during the game. So the performance, congratulations for the performance, not congratulations because we lost the game at home. I think we deserve clearly a different result, and we need to move forward to the next one.
So what did you like about the performance? What did you do well that gave you control in large parts of the match?
We were more aggressive than last year. We sprint more. We were more brave. We let 1 against 1 all the game. We press high, and then with the ball we had quality. Even when the stadium makes some sounds, we continue to play. And that players like Cunha, like Brian, in one moment can elevate the stadium. So I think the most important thing, we were not boring.
No, you weren't boring. So Mbeumo and Cunha, even though they weren't able to get on the score sheet today, did you feel like, compared to last season, they gave you a threat, even in moments where maybe Arsenal were on top in the game?
Yeah, you always feel in the game that they can do something and they can push the team. Not just with the ball, but without the ball. They press really well. They are working really hard. Again, I'm proud for the game that they played, everybody, but we lost and we need to work on different things.
Yeah. And did the reaction of the fans at full time actually tell you something? Did that tell you that I think they quite liked what they saw?
Even during the game, but again, we need to win games, but that was a completely different game from last season.
Okay, what did you make of the goal you conceded?
It's more or less the same that happened sometimes. It happened last year. For me, it's not playing the ball. It's protecting the guys that they are attacking. I understand that we want goals, but when you touch in the goalkeeper in that way, I think it's hard. And especially to lose with a goal like this, I think it's hard.
What would you say to your goalkeeper then? What, bad luck, that was a foul, or does he have to be stronger in that instance?
It's hard to be strong when you have to push and to go for the ball. Sometimes you are pushing and then you don't have more hands to go for the ball. We need to be stronger in that moments, but especially we need to do the same thing in the opposite side. So we are not changing the rules. We have to adapt to the rules. And today it's hard to accept because I think we were the better team.
Okay. Lastly then, how do you see that goalkeeper situation moving forward? Bayindir was obviously in goal today. You've got Tom Heaton and Arne not in the squad at all. Is that a fight between the three of them in the last few weeks of the transfer window? Would you like to add a goalkeeper?
No, it's we have players to win any game of Premier League. We need to focus. Forget about the noise. We are fighting for the places. That is a good thing. But we are playing as a team. Doesn't matter who is playing. We want to win games.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, he did very well, actually. You were good at that at times, not answering the question. No, I'm talking about when you were playing directly, because he avoided the question totally, didn't he? Because do you think deep down he knows he needs a new goalkeeper and he might not be able to get one?
Yeah, maybe. And listen, I wouldn't expect anything else there. You know, I think he's got to come out and fight for the group and protect. And there's a bigger picture to look after as well. And you know, all the things, everything that he's put into the game, so good. Like you said, encouraging things with without the ball, and then he ends up coming and I'm talking about that, which that's out of his control. You know, it's a very tough one for him to have to take, really. And as I used the word deflated before, because I'm sure he'll feel a little bit like that and thinking they should have got more from the game, and then he's got to end up coming and taking that. But I wouldn't expect, even if he didn't think there was a foul, I wouldn't expect him to come out in any other way, really. He's got to look after his players, and I respect him for that.
They didn't score in 15 of 38 league games last season, but they had 22 attempts today, 7 on target. Yeah. So there is a sea change there. It'll change eventually, you think, with the players that he's got on the pitch?
I think there's an excitement about the players he's brought in, the way they performed today in Burmo and Cunha particularly. I thought De Ligt was excellent today. I thought it was his best game probably in the United shirt, with the ball and defending. So there was a lot of pluses there, there really were. But they played at their probably close to their peak, actually, in a way, United, yet they still lost at home. They've got a problem at Old Trafford at the moment. What did they lose last year? 8 or 9 games at home. No. And they've started off a season, be it they deserved, I think, at least a point. They haven't. They've lost again. Now, that psychologically, that's difficult, you know. It really is. You want to be going and making Old Trafford a fortress like it used to be. Well, that's not the best stepping stone to do, go and lose your first game. But there was a lot of good signs there for United. I've got to say, they had a better structure about them. I was wondering whether they were going to concede and go into a fight, but they were brave. They put their wing-backs up high. They pressed Arsenal. And on another day, that might have turned, you know, that might have been a 2-1 victory or even a 2-0 victory if they don't give a sloppy goal away.
Even a 1-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1-0.
Should have done enough, really, to give themselves a 1-0 victory, really, in the grand scheme of things.
I think he's done well. I think he's definitely come out there and done well for his keeper. Like you said, Michael, you expect him to protect the keeper and not finish him, especially when he needs him now. Onana's not even in the squad, but they've got to address that. Other than the goalkeeper's mistake, that probably would be one of those results where they'd go back and say, yeah, that was a good start for us against a team that's probably going to challenge. Well, I hope they're going to challenge. And that would have been a great start. But now, obviously, they've lost the game with a goalkeeping mistake. What they've been dealing with the whole of last season, since Onana's been there, I should say. So they've got to, in the last couple of, they've got to address that, because that's going to be a massive problem. Because like you mentioned as well earlier on, Gaffer, if Onana does come back or if Tom Eaton comes back, the glare and the pressure on him in any moment, he's going to be under pressure. So they need to take that away by bringing in a top goalkeeper for Manchester United.
Yeah, he's won 8 of his 12 games against United now as the Arsenal manager. That's interesting, talking about the resilience and the character today.
Well, I think that what we've shown under Mikel Arteta, that we have got a lot of resilience. We are very good defensively. Obviously, the set pieces as well, we're able to take advantage of those like we did today. But in the main with the team, our defensive record has been brilliant for the last couple of seasons. It's the goals. It's the goals what we need to get now. That's why he was hoping that maybe Victor Gyökeres would have had the kind of game where we could have seen stuff today. Didn't really see it today. I thought De Ligt was really tight and done pretty well about him today. But that's where you want to see the difference, because defensively we are very good. Against anybody, especially the top 6. It's the mid teams that we need to play. But again, with this game, main thing was to not lose it. And I'd like to have seen more shots on goal, if I'm going to be totally honest. But again, it's the first game of the season. You know what I mean? We've got to build into it. You know, we've got some tough games coming. So, you know, the main thing is that we haven't lost on the first day.
And obviously, Mikel Arteta, as we know, was ruthless in that goalkeeping area to bring in David Ryan, improve them further.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lesson there for United in many ways. But no, Ray, I've always thought he was great at Brentford. It was a great buy. It really was. But for such an open game, there wasn't many chances in both ends. And to have the, you know, both teams played open, attacked each other. It's like a basketball game in many ways. It's really strange how there wasn't much more created from both teams. But it was still a very exciting game, Premier League game. But room for improvement certainly from Arsenal, but I think United, there's something there for United to hang their hat on in that performance, I've got to say.
Is it important to remember that? Only one game and
100%. Today was almost a one-off. I think it was, in some ways, a bit of a free hit for United with the new signings, the freshness. I think it's a one-off for Arsenal as well in terms of get the win and move on. Don't overanalyze it. I think they'll play better. Good players, they've got quality. I wouldn't overanalyze why the performance happened. I think they'll be fine. They won the game. United have got a lot to take from the game. The result is a result, but I don't think it'll affect what happens next for both teams, really.